is September 2022 and we are today testing on the Kremenko system the IBM 0665 hard drive, nominal capacity 44 megabytes, and we're going to first of all have a look at the drive, and then we're going to reinitialize it, format it, change partition table, and then retest it. So this is quite a long video. I shall use the magic of editing to make this more watchable. So we have going to first of all set the time. I think it's set correctly. Yeah, we are September the 26th. That's the right time and the right date. We're going to do a disk info of the drive as it stands. So you can see it's got multiple partitions already set, and we know from the actual header of the disk, which is written to track 0, that this is the geometry. So we can repartition this disk and reformat it. So it's got lots of personal information on it. It's a disk that I've owned since new, since 1980. I'm saying 1985. So it's well, a rather old lady, and we are going to reformat it, and then it's going to be passed on to a new owner. So we're going to do init hard. We don't need the -n because it's going to read the geometry from that partition table. It's device STD31. It's got 7 surfaces, usable surfaces. The 8th is the servo. It's got 732 cylinders, counting from 0. We're going to give it 20 alternate tracks, and that is number of alternate tracks, 7 surfaces. We should be giving it, I always make the same mistake every time I do this. I don't plan ahead. I should be planning ahead. So actually it's got 7 surfaces. So normally, in order to make it a logical situation, we should make the number of alternate tracks a multiple of the number of surfaces. So why is it set to 20? That's the default, which is a bad default. We're going to make the number of alternate tracks 7 times 3, which is 21. The last cylinder is 732, backwards 731, 730. So we would like the alternate track table to start at cylinder 730. We're going to have 21 alternate tracks. Starting cylinder of the disk is going to be 1. Pre-comp, we don't care. We do want to initialize tracks. We're going to initialize everything from the 0th cylinder to the 731st cylinder. In fact, it's got 0 to 7, so it's starting at 0, ending at 731, so 732 tracks in total. So let's go. It's going to take a while. We are starting the physical reformatting of the hard drive. So after this step, it's going to ask us whether we want to repartition the disk. I'm going to say yes to create one large partition. Then we're going to run the read-all command to read the surface of the disk at a low level, and, if necessary, put any bad tracks and cylinders into the alternate track table. So if you can remember, in the 1980s, drives didn't have defect management as standard. It was actually done manually by the operating system. So we are going to arrange for this 21 track area, which means 7 times 3 cylinders worth of alternate tracks, and I'm going to place that at the end of the hard drive. And if there are any defects on the drive, then we'll remap it to that place. Now, when drives of this genre were actually sold, they came with a defect table on the top of the disk. There is at least 3 defects on the printed surface of this disk label, but using Kremenko formatting we can normally do better. So this drive's been kept like a princess for the last 20 years in a climate control cave. It previously had no defects. I am pretty confident it will still have 0 defects. It's spun up so beautifully smoothly. I've done that first level test on a separate test rig. It sounded wonderful. So I've finished the droning now. We're only at cylinder 117. We've got to get up to cylinder 732. So bear with me. Okay, we do want to change the partition table. So yes. Now it's taken away 3 cylinders for the alternate track table. So we're going to say 728 yes. But alternate track location, I'm going to say that's going to be at. I still think there's a slight error in the numbering system here. Anyway, we'll go with it. We're going to try to make it 730, 731, 732. I think so. It should be 730. Let's go with my conviction. No, don't add any tracks. So let's do a disk info of STD31. Now it says this has got 732 cylinders, which I think is wrong. So the reason why my calculations are out is because this disc does not have 732 cylinders. It's got 733 cylinders. Damn it. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do an init hard minus n to start again. So Dari, we are looking at the formatting of this hard drive. I've determined that the drive actually has a slightly incorrect partition table. So because of that, we're going to have to start all over again and reformat the drive. It's already been low level formatted once. I've only just noticed that the partition table is wrong. It's not 732 cylinders, it's 733 cylinders. So we're going to do init hard minus n. It's device STD31. We're going to tell it it's got 7 surfaces. We're telling it it's got 733 cylinders. Maximum alternative tracks is going to be 21. Starting cylinder disk is going to be 1. We're going to leave cylinder 0 for housekeeping and administration. Pre-comp is going to be right at the end. And we don't want to, actually we do want to initialize the track. We've only initialized tracks up to 732. So we're going to initialize the counting from 0. This is just track 732. That's pretty quick. Right. We do want to change the partition table, yes. Number of cylinders is going to be 729. The alternate track location is going to be right at the end of the drive. So we are going to count 3 cylinders back from 732, 732, 731, 730. So it's going to be at 730. And we don't want to add any alternate tracks. Okay, now let's have a little look. Disk info STD31. I have rectified the error. So this disk has been sitting around for more than 30 years with a partition error. So we've never used the last cylinder. And now I've increased the space by just a little. And we're now going to do a read all of the disk to ensure that the drive is I hope, good as new. Read all STD31. This will take some time. Now, any defects here will be noted, and then we will add them into this alternate track table here. But I'm a betting man, and I believe the drive will be 100% good, which is very unusual for a drive of this age. But I think the IBM drives that I bought back in the day are of great quality construction, and I think that's reflected in the fact that over 35 years later they are still performing at 100%, which I find absolutely extraordinary. Okay, we finished. We have finished. We have. Let's review what we've done. We've powered on the drive initially in another video. Done an initial check to determine the disk geometry and check that things were basically ship shape. We've then moved it to a more delicate system, which I didn't want to blow up, which is my 1979 or thereabouts Kremenko system. We've attached the drive. We've first of all initialized the drive. I've made a partition of the drive and noticed that there was a partitioning error which has been there for over 30 years, and I corrected that partition error, and we've got one more cylinder now, so a slightly larger amount of disk space. So we will do a disk info of STD31, and we now see we have got a 733 cylinder drive. It's got 7 working heads. 8th is the servo, not used for data. The alternate tracks, the first cylinder on the disk is 1, so cylinder 0 is used for administration. We won't use it to store data. And the partition is a single partition going from cylinder 1 to cylinder 79. And cylinders 730, 731, 732 are used for the alternate tracks, which are here. Now, we did the read all, where we read all the cylinders of the drive, and we found no read errors at all. Therefore, we don't need to populate this alternate track table because the drive is running perfectly. So how about that? A 35-year-old plus drive, it's running absolutely perfectly, it spins up and down perfectly, great condition. It's now going to a new home. Alright, Dalit, I'm going to switch off the computer and you'll hear the spin down of the drive. So we're going to shut down properly, gracefully. I don't want to corrupt the boot volume. And now I'm going to power down the drive. You'll hear it spin down. Thanks for watching.